The most dominant figure that racing's ever had.
I've seen so many marvellous riders. Truthfully, I've never seen a better.
When you mention jockeys, Lester Piggott is the #1.
He got things out of horses, made horses do things I don't think anyone else could do.
More than 4,500 winners. Classic victories in 34 countries, spanning an incredible 50 years. He was a sportsman renowned for his drive and fanatical determination in the relentless pursuit of racing success.
And they're off. A rather small field of 22 begins its gallop of 1.5 miles over the switchback course. Uphill first, with Moonlight Express taking an early lead. Blue Sail, Alpenhorn, Ferriol and Rowston Manor all prominent in the first phase. Then, approaching Tottenham Corner, Rowston Manor thrilled his many backers by going to the front. There wasn't much in it, though, and Lavengro was disputing the lead, while Alpenhorn, Blue Rod, Never Say Die, Darius and Lando were all within striking distance. Rounding the corner, Rowston Manor was showing the way, with Lando and Darius moving up. Never Say Die and Elopement were also going well near the leaders. Downhill at a cracking pace with the issues still absolutely open. Then in the straight run for home, Never Say Die began to draw away from Darius on the rails. Yes, this is where the derbies are usually won or lost. And now with Never Say Die looking a clear winner, Arabian Night makes a bid for glory. He's overhauling Darius with every stride, but he can't get up to Never Say Die, who maintains his 2-length lead right to the finish. A grand win from Arabian Night and Darius by this 33-1 long shot.
Berger's getting restive and someone's wandered right off. Yes, it's Alcastus. And now this should be it. And Prince Taj is left standing. And London Cries a slow starter too. And as they thunder up the outward stretch, it's Bodimiel, Mystic Prince, Dutel, Chevastrid, Hedonist, Eudaemon, and the favourite Crapello all close together. Coming up the hill, Eudaemon's taken the lead, with Brioche on his tail. Chevastrid still well up, but the Queen's horse, Dutel, is already beginning to lose ground. And now down the hill, with Crapello being nursed, and Eudaemon and Brioche still in the lead. Here they come round Tottenham Corner, and it's still Eudaemon and Brioche neck and neck, followed by Pala, Chevastrid, Ballyboss, and now Piggott on Crapello, choosing his position for the decisive run home. Eudaemon's dropping back, but Brioche is still struggling to keep the lead, and here's a challenge now from the Irishman, Ballymoss, and Brioche is weakening now, and Ballymoss is being challenged too. It's Crapello. Crapello coming very strongly on the outside. Yes, he's overtaking Ballymoss, the Irish horse fighting back gallantly, but there's only a furlong to go. And it's Crapello, and Ballymoss can't hold him now, and Lester Piggott's drawing ahead yard by yard, and yes, Crapello wins.
Piggott and Merlis.
Port St. Anne was first to nose in front with Tudor Period, Oak Ridge, Marengo and Die Hard close up. The head-on view of the galloping field shows just how thrilling a ride in the Derby must be, how tricky at times too. Round the corner and into the straight, Die Hard, Arroy, Kithnos and Paddy and Alcius. Leicester's reported as saying that this was the easiest Derby win he'd had, and he'd had two before. In itself. And what a triumph for his owner, winner of 4 Derbies in 8 years. Well done, Paddy, says Sir Victor Cecil.
I feel that when he's actually riding a race, that he's sitting there as I'm sitting in this chair now, without the slightest fear or the slightest sign of nerves of any kind, and just sees what's going on around him.
Many a successful Epsom raid has been hard-hatched here at Ballydoyle, O'Brien's lair below the Rock of Cashel. Now one of history's most cunning trainers of a horse, and probably history's finest rider, had come together. But more even. Two such sporting businessmen were bound to be a riveting attraction to, well, other sporting businessmen who loved the turf, but whose talent was investment. Money breeds horses, and money breeds money. And O'Brien helped Piggott to understand the fact. Nijinsky was trained here, and Sir Ivan.
Only seconds now separated the runners and riders from the off. In the lead and setting a good early pace was Ben Roy as they raced up the hill. Tucked in close behind were Connaught, Laureate, Society and Remand. Coasting in 8th place was Sir Ivan. At the back of the field was First Rate Park. Tattenham Corner, the Derby's vital curve. Now the pace was hotting up. Ben Roy still had the lead, but overhauling past was Connaught, clear of Society, Atopolis, Laureate, Remand and Sir Ivan. At the 5 furlong mark it was Connaught from Society, Atopolis, Laureate, Remand and Sir Ivan. Connaught had opened up a clear lead. Laureate and Atopolis couldn't stay with him. Remand and Society fought gamely, but couldn't catch him. There was only one horse that could do it as they entered the final furlong, Sir Ivan. Watch Lester Piggott urge him into a fantastic burst of speed, which shot him to the front. Sir Ivan streaked ahead to pass the post a length and a half clear of Connaught.
Yes, they're under starters' orders, and they're away. And Gier is one of the first to show on the far side with Long Till now. And it's Long Till going on from Cry Baby. Long Till, the leader from Cry Baby. Then comes More Plaisir on the far side, then Approval and Meadowville, and then Gier. Behind Gier is the Swell. Then comes Stintino. And then behind them come Tambourine Man and Great Wall. And Nijinsky just about in the centre of the field now with Cry Baby has gone up on the inside of Long Till. And it's Cry Baby and Long Till disputing it ahead of Approval. Then comes More Plaisir and Meadowville. Then Nijinsky, then the Swell. Then comes Gier on the outside, and then Stintino. Behind Stintino is Great Wall, and Tambourine Man is the back marker, and it's Long Till and Cry Baby disputing it as they run up towards the milepost now. Long Till and Cry Baby from Meadowville in 3rd place. Then in 4th is Approval on the inside of More Plaisir, 5 on the outside. 6 is Gier and 6 is Nijinsky rather, 7 is the Swell and 8 Gier. Then comes Stintino 9, 10 is Great Wall and 11 is Tambourine Man. And they're running to the top of the hill now with Sandy Barkley on Cry Baby, the leader from Long Till. Then comes Approval. Then towards the outside of Approval is Meadowville. Then More Plaisir. Then Nijinsky. Then the Swell. Then Gier. Then Great Wall. Then Stintino. And finally Tambourine Man. And they're beginning the run down the hill now. And as they come down the hill, it's Sandy Barkley on the inside on Cry Baby with towards the outside Long Till. Just in behind Long Till is More Plaisir. Then comes Meadowville. Then Approval. Then Nijinsky making ground. Just in behind Nijinsky is Stintino making ground. Gier's towards the outside now as they run round Tattenham Corner with Long Till in the lead now from Cry Baby. Then More Plaisir. Then Meadowville. Gier's towards the outside. Nijinsky towards the inner as they race round the home turn now. And it's Long Till, Meadowville. Then comes More Plaisir. Gier with his white face showing towards the outside as they come to the 3 furlong marker. It's Meadowville in the centre with Long Till on the far side and Gier coming there very strongly. Great Wall has burst through over on the far side. Stintino's making a run towards the near side, and it's Great Wall under pressure from Gier. Gier now has taken it up at the 2 furlong pole. It's Gier under pressure in the lead, being pressed by Great Wall. Then comes Nijinsky and then Stintino. They're racing up towards the furlong marker, and here comes Lester Piggott on Nijinsky. It's Gier on the far side, Lester Piggott on the near side on Nijinsky. Nijinsky coming to take it up from Gier and racing up towards the line. It's a miss for Lester Piggott. Nijinsky's the winner, Gier is 2nd, Stintino's 3rd, 4th is Great Wall and 5 Meadowville, 6 is the Swell and 7 Approval and 8 Long Till, 9 Cry Baby and 10 is Tambourine Man, and 11th and last is More Plaisir.
More than anyone knew when to make the move on Derby Day. 1972 saw a photo finish, but a 6th Derby win on Roberto, though some question Piggott's use of the whip as he edged to victory.
You know, two of the most controversial Derby were Roberto and the Minstrel, you know, because they were very close finishes, you know. But, you know, they were both very good horses, especially on that day. And Roberto's race was very close, you know. I didn't really think they had won at the time, but anyway, I got the verdict, and but nobody was very pleased anyway.
Pentland Firth, the leader, from Meadowmint or Mindo, Manitoulin, Roberto, Paper Cap running on the far side, Leafard running very, very wide, almost into the stands on the far side. 3 furlongs to go, and it's Pentland Firth running on strongly from Meadowmint or Mindo, Manitoulin. Rheingold coming up on the outside. Roberto is there with a chance. Paper Cap and Our Mirage are running on, and so is Yarrowstar. With just under a quarter of a mile to go, it's Pentland Firth on the far side from Rheingold, Roberto, Meadowmint or Mindo, Gombos and Yarrowstar. And now it's Rheingold and Roberto from Pentland Firth, who's a bit squeezed for room over on the far side. And as they run into the final furlong, it's Roberto and Rheingold. Rheingold nearest to us, Roberto over on the far side. They're running absolutely head for head, followed by Pentland Firth and Our Mirage. And at the post, I think Lester Piggott has just forced Roberto's head in front of Ryan.
And so they hit Tattenham Corner. As they do so, Batiste still the leader, and he's tracked still by Radetzky. Relkino right on the outside, Opry nears the rails, and so they head for home. 3 furlongs still to go, and it's Gerard Rivas still in the lead with Batiste. Then comes Relkino, the leading two are then pressed by Opry. Tierra Fuego tries to run on the outside, so too is Oates, and Waller's under pressure, and so they have 2 furlongs still to run, and it's Relkino and Joe Mercer in the lead now from Batiste, and then comes Opry in 3rd place, Oates is 4th, then comes Hawkesbury, and Waller making a tremendous hard work of it, but he's not going to get to them because they've now come towards the final furlong, and it's Lester Piggott on Opry now takes up from Relkino, then comes Overton on the far side with Batiste. They've got about 150 yards to go, and it's Lester Piggott, he's done it again on Opry. They come up towards the line, Opry wins the Derby from Relkino, Oates, Hawkesbury, Waller in 5th, then comes Batiste, followed over by No Turn, then comes Smuggler, Donestic, Radetzky, Tierra Fuego, Norfolk Out.
It was our first big year with 3-year-olds, and we went through the winter with great expectations of the Minstrel and Clunaro winning the 1,000 guineas and the 2,000 guineas. Both got beaten, and we then ran the Minstrel in the Irish 2,000 guineas, and he finished 3rd. And I'll never forget, I got a message to go to the weighing room and see Lester Piggott. And he was sitting in there with his vest on, and there were a lot of empty champagne bottles around him. And he said, "You can run that horse in the Derby, I'll win it for you." And by this time it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. And I went out and I found Vincent, who was equally dejected, and I said, "Lester says he'll win the Derby for us. Let's have a crack." So Vincent said, "Okay." It was only then, there was only about 2 weeks difference between the Irish 2,000 guineas and the Derby. And he rode fantastic.
$1 million man on the far side of Baudelaire as Lucky Sovereign goes up to join them. Just in behind them come Nebbiolo, then Caparello, and then Be My Guest. Looking to the back markers, it's Sultan's Ruby and Lordy Door. Royal Plume coming there strongly on the inside as they race up the hill with Gerlock, and it's Baudelaire, Royal Plume, Valinsky, $1 Million Man. Just in behind them, Caparello. Just in behind them, Blushing Groom towards the outside with Noble Venture just in front of him. The Minstrel's one of the back markers, and Night Before has been pulled up. Pat Edery has pulled up Night Before, and it's Baudelaire now as they race to the top of the hill. The back marker is Mr. Music Man with Royal Plume also losing ground, and still $1 Million Man in the lead from Caparello, Baudelaire. Then closely grouped in behind them, Nebbiolo, Noble Venture. Hot Grove's making good progress on the outside as they run down into Chattenham Corner. It's $1 Million Man from Hot Grove now in 2nd. 3rd is Caparello for Baudelaire. The Minstrel coming there strongly in 5th and being chased by Nebbiolo. Blushing Groom is in 8th place. And still going well as they run down into the turn now with just over 3 furlongs to run in the Derby, and it's $1 Million Man being pressed by Hot Grove. The Minstrel coming there in 3rd place. Then comes Be My Guest making progress, Behind them, Blushing Groom on the outside, unleashing a run. Behind him is Monseigneur. They're coming to the 2 furlong marker. It's Hot Grove from the Minstrel, then Blushing Groom, and Monseigneur still making rapid progress towards the stand side. But it's Hot Grove from the Minstrel and Blushing Groom, then Monseigneur moving into 4th. They're racing into the closing stages now, and it's Hot Grove from the Minstrel, Blushing Groom and Monseigneur. 100 yards to run in the Derby. The Minstrel coming to challenge Hot Grove, and it's Lester Piggott and Willie Carson. The Minstrel on the near side, Hot Grove on the north side, and the Minstrel wins it from Hot Grove. Blushing Groom is 3rd. Lordy Dawn, Nebbiolo behind Nebbiolo.
End of the straight, round Tattenham Corner, off I went.
Well, as they run down into the turn now with just over 3 furlongs to run in the Derby, and it's $1 Million Man being pressed by Hot Grove. The Minstrel coming there in 3rd place. Then comes Be My Guest making progress. Behind them, Blushing Groom on the outside, unleashing a run. Behind him is Monseigneur. They're coming to the 2 furlong marker.
There's an element of assassin about Piggott, and he would like to just knife home at the end, because actually that's best for the horse. Horses keen to do it. You just take that enthusiasm, just do one quick thrust. And I can remember that happening at Epsom. It stays with me.
100 yards to run in the Derby. The Minstrel coming to challenge Hot Grove, and it's Lester Piggott and Willie Carson. The Minstrel on the near side, Hot Grove on the north side, and the Minstrel wins it from Hot Grove. Blushing Groom is 3rd.
And they got me there in the last, 20 yards. And I've had a word with him after the race, and he said to me, "Yeah, you made it hard for me, didn't you?"
There was a final Derby victory on Teenoso in 1983, 32 years after his first ride in the Epsom Classic.
He was an absolute...
1.5 miles, that's a 12 furlongs to trip. Holmbury the one nearest to us, smartly into his stride. Holmbury disputing the early running in the early stages from Gordian in 2nd place. Then just in behind these comes Nar, and up on the outside, Sloopy going very well on the very wide outside with Naorian. And it's Sloopy on the extreme left of the picture who leads the overall field from Naorian, Walk-on up there, Teenoso not too far away. And as they continue their uphill journey, very, very closely grouped indeed, with Sloopy now being headed by Naorian, and it's Naorian in the lead from Sloopy in 2nd place. Then just in behind these comes Nar, then Lester Piggott on Teenoso in a prominent position. The back marker is Lomond down by a little way, but it's now Mittelini that has come through to take up the running. Go to the hill on the far side, and it's Mittelini, Sloopy on the outside. Then just in with these comes Teenoso going very well. Behind these Naorian, then Guns of Navarone, Holmbury, Lomond is the back marker, Yarwar is towards the rear, so too is Zoffany. And as they continue their uphill climb to the point 7 furlongs from home, it's Mittelini in the lead from Lester Piggott on Teenoso in 2nd place. Then Sloopy on the outside of Gordian. Then just in behind these comes Carlingford Castle, and it's Mittelini in the lead from Teenoso in 2nd place. Then just in behind these comes Tivian, who's made up ground. Then comes on the outside Naorian. They begin the descent to Tattenham Corner. Mittelini from Tivian, Teenoso. Then Zoffany next to the rails. Carlingford Castle on the outside. The American horse Sloopy is on the middle division. Wassell is trying to come with a run. And as they begin the turn into the home straight, come down to Tattenham Corner, it's Tivian and Mittelini who disputed from Teenoso in 2nd place. Then just in behind these comes Gordian, and there's a faller at the rear of the field, and it's difficult to distinguish who it is at this stage. Mittelini in the lead from Tivian in 2nd place, then comes Teenoso in 3rd. These are followed by Naorian in 4th, turning into the home straight, and it's Salmon Leap who's improving just in behind these, and it's Mittelini from Teenoso, Lester Piggott on Teenoso, committed and goes for home, and it's Teenoso and Lester Piggott with 2.5 furlongs to go. Teenoso in the lead from Mittelini in 2nd place, then comes Naorian, Guns of Navarone is staying on, then comes Salmon Leap, and Lester Piggott with 2.5 furlongs to go. It's clear on Teenoso, 2 furlongs to go, and Teenoso clear from Guns of Navarone, 2nd, Carlingford Castle is 3rd, then comes Salmon Leap unbeaten but in 4th place, then Sheer Walk, a furlong and a half to go, and Lester Piggott in the lead. Carlingford Castle is chasing in 2nd place, and well inside the final half furlong. Lester Piggott coming home on his 9th Derby winner, Teenoso from Carlingford Castle in 2nd place, coming up towards the line. Teenoso's going to win it from Carlingford Castle. Teenoso the winner, Carlingford Castle 2nd, a photo for 3rd between Sheer Walk and Salmon Leap, then Guns of Navarone and Nar, then Pluralism and Walk-on and Ptolemaeo and Gordian, then the Noble Pair and Mittelini, then Naorian and Wassell, and the faller was Yarwar. Towards the rear was Lomond, last of all was Holmbury, in fact last but trailing in and disappointed is Zoffany. And so the result of this, the 204th Derby, a win for number 25, Teenoso, owned by Mr. Eric Moller, trained at Newmarket by Geoffrey Ragg, ridden by Lester Piggott. That's Lester Piggott's 9th Derby winner. Second was number 3, Carlingford Castle, ridden by Michael Kinane, and a photograph for 3rd place between Sheer Walk and Salmon Leap. But the 204th Derby has gone to Lester Piggott on Teenoso. Lester has made the right choice. He had the choice between him and Ptolemeo. Lester was in no doubt that Teenoso was his ride. He, in fact, has won. There he is at the top of the picture. Lester on his 9th Derby winner. The number 25 horse, Teenoso, owned by Mr. Eric Moller, trained at Newmarket by Geoffrey Ragg, ridden by Lester and bred by Eric Moller at the White Lodge Stud in the United States of America.
Last night you said you might change the tactics, you'd have to see, and you did it better than ever.
Well, you know, he gave me a great ride, you know. I couldn't believe how well I was going. Turning home, you know. I was canting, really, you know.
Really? Because, I mean, they ganged up behind you, and I thought they might all come after you, but no?
Well, yeah, I just let him go when he straightened up, and nothing ever looked like it.
Well, we'll take the privilege of showing it to you, Lester, showing the master how it happens. As you say, you turned in pretty close there. You were closer than you'd ever been, I think, in the Derby, this stage.
I probably was, yeah.
And you couldn't believe how well you were going. Had you looked around at all to see how the others were going, fancied horses?
Well, I was following 2 bad horses most of the way, you know, but I was entitled to be going well, but I really was going well, you know. You know, when I opened up there, you know, it was all over, really.
It's astonishing now, because the ground not not that impossibly heavy, is it, Lester? I mean, it's not a sort of bog Derby.
It's not as bad as when Shergo won. It's soft, but it's not. No, it's not as bad as that year.
This was a very backward horse last year, and he's really coming on. I mean, how good is he? You've ridden some great horses in your time.
Well, I think he's a very good horse. It probably, you know, I wouldn't say it was one of the best derbies, because, you know, everything's been against the horses so much. But I think he's a very good horse, you know.
And Lester, we've heard there was a steward's inquiry, and one of the water swimmers was saying it was a very rough race, but presumably that was all behind you. Did you hear screams and shouts behind?
I didn't really, you know. I was always in the first 5, I suppose, but when, you know, we didn't go all that fast, really. And when we were coming up to about the 1.25 mile gate, you know, they were all came together a bit because they weren't going very fast. And that was all, you know. I think some of the horses were running a bit freer than the jockeys wanted them to, you know. That was all.
Well, Lester, the question I know everybody looking in will want to ask you. You've got 9 now. You've often been quoted as saying 10, but even the years are creeping up even on you. Are you going to get to 10, or can there be more, 11 and 12?
Well, there'll be another one anyway.
Well, that's all we wanted to hear, really. Lester, thanks very much for talking to us, and congratulations from me and from everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But Lester Piggott, at 48, remained the finest big race jockey in the world. Teenoso gave him a 7th win in the King George.
It's Teenoso, they're in the lead. Teenoso, the leader from Sadler's Wells and Ptolemeo and Time Charter. Lester Piggott is going to win it again. Teenoso wins the King George, 6th and Swingling Willis Diamond Stakes.
And then in the St. Leger, Comanche Run gave Piggott an all-time record 28th classic success.
Incomparable Piggott, and after a desperate fall a month earlier, it was a win that meant more to him than anyone knew.
Lester, it certainly meant a lot to you, but did it mean more to you than your first ever classic victory?
Well, that was the beginning, and that day on Never Say Die was marvellous.
1954, the Derby.
That's right.
Do you remember coming in here to talk about it those years ago? We're going to remind you. Just have a look up here.
And now here's Never Say Die coming into it too, and the rater's there. Blue Sails dropping back a bit. Never Say Die chased by Ferrier, and here's Arabian Night coming with a very fast finish. Last furlong, it's 100 yards, and Never Say Die skating it, with Ferrier moving up fast. Arabian Night 3rd, and at the post it is Never Say Die from Arabian Night.
I was always about 5th or 6th during the race. I took the lead about a furlong in the straight, and I drew away, and I won very easily.
Well, you've lost a little weight in the... Yes. You lost a little weight since then?
A little bit.
A little, have you, in actual fact?
Well, I've kept a bit slimmer, you know, but I don't think I've changed that much.
I don't think you have. We don't want to get rid of you from racing, but the question inevitably is, how long more are you going to keep riding?
Well, I'm going to ride next season anyway, you know.
Definitely one more season?
Yes.
And what's the plan after that?
Well, I've got to stop sometime, you know, and I'll train after that.
You'll train after that? I bet you're looking forward to a hearty breakfast, aren't you? Lester, you've been a star as long as this program's been going, and we have a special award for you tonight. And to present it, another great man of the turf, Sir Gordon Richards.